Back in high school, I always wanted to be in a band. I remember seeing Korn for the first time in middle school, and when I saw them play, I just thought to myself, oh man, this is something I totally want to do. I even formed a band of my own in high school, but I mean, we didn't really do much. We just played parking lots, a couple of school gigs. Everyone thought I was weird. After that ended, though, I decided I really wanted to perfect my craft and get a lot better at music. And in college, if I could find some people that had similar interests as me, I mean, that would just be amazing.
For every different place I would move, I would have a different band. I moved around a lot as a kid, so I probably had around 5 or 6 or 7 bands so far. I've just been really involved with music, so I knew I needed to get into something in college.
The way this band formed was just a series of happy coincidences. I was placed in a dorm room exactly next to Rohan's. Just one day, his room was open. I heard him playing Call of Duty Zombies.
This funny looking Indian kid just comes up in my room and he's like, hey man, you play Call of Duty? And then he started taking an interest in my guitar. He's like, is that a 7-string guitar?
So I said, oh, it's a 7-string, you play metal. You see, then he got interested. So I told him I played bass, and I had a 5-string sitting in my room, and that just made him really happy. And he was like, oh, do you want to get together sometime and play some music? And that's essentially how this all started.
So my freshman year, I was living at the Earhart dorm at Purdue University, and just one night they were having like this talent show, and I figured I might as well just try out just for my own solo acoustic project. So I came down and I just played my song, and then I heard these other 2 guys playing some metal together. They didn't even have a full band. It was just like a singer, a guitarist, and a bassist, and they had this backing track played behind them. You could just tell they love rocking out.
Rohan got off on a table in the middle of the song and jumped off it as soon as the breakdown hit, and that just like blew everybody's mind, and mine too, because I wasn't expecting him to do that. And at that point I knew, okay, this guy is worthy of being the front man in a band.
So I went up to them after the show and asked them for the number and see if I could maybe jam with them sometime.
I got really excited. I got so excited that I gave him the wrong phone number. I screwed the pooch on that one. But, you know, time passed, a couple of weeks, I managed to run into him again. And then when I ran into him, it was just like, here's the right phone number. I'm so sorry for the confusion.
And then that's kind of how I was involved in the start of the band.
After a while, we had Vishnu place an ad on Facebook to see if we could find a drummer.
I just put out a message saying, hey, I'm planning to start a metal band. Are there any drummers out there who would like to join?
And eventually one kid responded, and it was Badge.
I commented on the post, and soon enough Vishnu sent me a personal message, and he said, hey, would you like to meet us for dinner?
We talked about, you know, whether he was the right fit for us, and he showed us like these covers of him playing like an Iron Man 3 soundtrack, and he said he was really jazz oriented, which we were a little bit worried about, but honestly it all worked out in the end. We started jamming a couple times and he really did a good job.
If we hadn't done that talent show, and if Rohan hadn't found Kyle again, and if Badge hadn't replied on that Facebook group, this band would not exist.
So later in sophomore year, we got asked to play this Battle of the Bands show.
They were playing this little show, this like Battle of the Bands outside my dorm, and my friends from the radio station I was working at the time told me to come out because they heard a metal band was coming out.
We came in second place, and after the show we did this interview with Wiley Radio. We ended up mentioning we need another guitar player.
Because Kyle couldn't play lead and rhythms and sing and do all of that at the same time. It's just not humanly possible. So.
And I figured, hey, this is my shot to maybe join a competent band for once.
A member from the audience came up to us and he was like, really liked you guys' show. Could I just like get your guys' number and maybe we could jam sometime? And
was up to us and he's like, hey, I really like your music, man. I play guitar myself. and I want to join your band. We called him in, we auditioned him, and he turned out to be pretty good.
My first practice with the guys, they had only written like 2 songs, and I didn't have an 8-string at the time. I didn't even know 8-string guitars existed until I joined this band. So my audition process was basically just a couple Linkin Park covers and a Trivium song.
Man, he nailed it. And so, yeah, good job, Lake. So he's in the band with a 5-piece now.
So shortly after we like started meeting for the first times, we kind of all came to Rohan's dorm, and we kind of all got together and just started writing to see like what would happen and what kind of creative instincts we would kind of drive towards.
And then we started working on the demos for the Dominant Gene and for songs like Clairvoyance. You know, we started working on like the initial riffs and started being like, okay, we could actually probably create an album together.
Then a little while later, I ended up getting my first 8-string, ended up getting my first nice amp modeling setup with my Axe 8, and from there, I was pretty much ready to start recording the Anomaly.